Good morning. I'm happy to see you. Welcome to St. Sarkis Church. Today we call it in our tradition, and the tradition of this church with a small t, the Sunday of Graduates. This is something that we've started a few years ago, and we have been implementing it faithfully. It's a good tradition. But before we go to the graduates, I know you guys are waiting patiently. But before we go there, today I remembered one of our priests of blessed memory, Der Vartan, who was a humorous person. He had such a great wit, and he used to implement his humor for his ministry, to preach the Word of God. I remember I was a newly ordained priest when I came to serve this church. And we had a clergy conference, and we met, all the clergy met together. And Der Vartan was there, and he was like, "I'm so happy to see you. I have an advice, I'm going to give you some advice." And this was the way that he used to talk. And he said, "Terhar, what's your advice?" He said, "In life, the big fish will always eat the small fish. And you're a small fish," he told me. But he said, "It is the responsibility of the small fish to cause bellyache for the big fish." Today I remember this story because we speak about the whales and what happened in the belly of the whale. We speak about Jonah, when people came and asked Jesus to give them a sign. And it sounds like Jesus didn't like this request. And he told them, "All the signs have been given to you. What else do you expect? Look at your tradition. There was Jonah who refused to listen to the word of God. And guess what happened? Even as he was trying to go away, he eventually was thrown to the sea and the whale swallowed him." Do you know the story? Let's revisit this story. So there was this guy who was a prophet, Jonah, and God wanted to send him to this place that is called Nineveh. Now, Nineveh is a city in Iraq. The modern name of that city is Mosul. Unfortunately, that city became famous during the war. And that city was a place where the Assyrians lived. And the Assyrians and the Jews were not good friends. They were enemies. And God wanted to send Jonah to preach to the enemy. He didn't like that. So he thought to himself, maybe if I go somewhere else, God will forget about me. The way to go to Nineveh would have been to travel on land. Instead, he got on a boat and he started to travel in the Mediterranean, the complete opposite direction. And as he was traveling, a great storm hit the sea. And he knew that this was happening because of him. And he was thrown into the sea, and there was a whale who swallowed him. Even the whale couldn't stomach him. He threw him up 3 days later. This could be a folk tale, my friends, or this could be one of the miracles of God. That's not the point. The point is that there's a lot of lessons for us to learn from Jonah. A lesson that my graduate friends, brothers and sisters, where's everybody? I'm missing a few, right? A lesson that everyone can learn from. The first lesson is, do not run away from your vocation. Vocation is a fancy word. Vocation basically means calling. Try to find what is your calling. For Jonah, it was obvious. His calling was to be a prophet, to preach the word of God to everyone. But he was running away from his vocation. Today, as you are embracing a new chapter in your lives, try to think about this very important question. What is my vocation? What God is calling me to be or to do in my life? The second lesson that we can learn from this story is the following: submit yourselves to God. And again, this is something that we learn from the story of Jonah. Jonah was hesitant. He didn't want to go to Nineveh. You know why? Because he thought, what possibly could I preach so that these people will suddenly change their minds and start worshiping God? But we read in the book of Jonah that as soon as he went there and he proclaimed the word of God, his message was accepted. And people went and they repented for their sins. He was not only surprised, but he was angry. Now, let's put the personal issues aside of Jonah. Let's focus on one thing. He had no hope that anything good could happen. But with the help of God, with the guidance of God, a miracle happened. In your life, all you need to do is to submit yourselves as agents to the will of God. And God will work miracles through you. You belong to a culture. You belong to a culture where it's so easy for us to become consumers. And becoming consumers is a pretty dangerous thing. We can just sit there and consume everything that the culture is giving us. You, as people of our Armenian Christian community, you have to be different because you have values and you need to use and implement those values in your lives. Whatever you choose to become in your lives, do that diligently and do it with love. Because when you put your heart into it and you pour your love into it, God will bless you. And you know what else will happen? You will become signs. Remember, in the beginning of the gospel reading today, we said people came and they requested signs from God. Jesus did not give them signs. He told them to look around, and signs will be found all around you. It is people like you, with love and with integrity and with the faith of God, that will become signs in this society and in this culture. And it is through you that people will come to worship God better. At the end of my sermon, I would like to invite you, dear graduates, Deacon Bedros, if you can bring the sashes. We will bless the sashes and we will give you the sashes. We will say a little prayer, and there will be a program at the end of church ceremony today. Please stand up and come in front of the altar.